I'm Hannah Croft.
And I'm Ava Truckee, and this is Feed Me Your Stories.
A show about food, pleasure, and community, hosted by two best friends who don't have inside voices.
5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we actually are recording.
Are we recording?
But do you remember what was I doing that? Oh, it was at the market. No, it wasn't at the market. It was when I was trying to take photos on, when we went out on Friday. Do you remember that? And
sure.
that's how I counted down for.
Oh yeah,
like,
you
when
did.
I was
you
taking...
did, and that's why none of the photos turned out.
Everyone was like, "What?"
Like literally, none of the photos are focused. Everybody's faces are blurry.
I didn't take those photos of the three of us.
Oh,
hello, because I was in it.
No, I was talking about all the other photos you took.
Of the ones of you and Liam where you weren't being still? Are you talking about those photos, maybe?
That sounds like you know what? It's a bad carpenter who blames their tools.
No, baby, because even your partner was like, yeah, no, this is you have to stop moving. No,
okay, fine.
Listen,
whatever.
We'll call it a both hand.
We always do.
We literally always do.
Always, that's our vibe.
I wish we should have shirts that say both and.
We should.
Welcome. It's another unhinged podcast recording.
Here we are.
With Ava and Han.
We're here.
Except we're gonna switch things up, which I'm excited for. We haven't done one of these yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna get after some of the questions that y'all have.
But before we do that, how are you, Ava?
I'm so good. And by so good, I mean actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm in big shift territory. I moved out of the commissary today. My micro bakery Buttermoon is doing a shifty kind of a vibe.
It's going into a cocoon. It's cocooning.
She's having a rest.
For future metamorphosis.
Yeah, exactly. She's just taken a beat. So
hibernating.
It is the season for hibernating.
How many different animals can I reference?
I mean, seriously. I'm excited for this. I've gotten a lot of questions of are you doing okay? Are you feeling okay? And yes, there are aspects of things that I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss market season and being in community and hanging out with folks every Saturday. And your girl is so excited to not get up at 2 or 3 in the morning.
I'm excited for that for you.
Or to have astronomical commissary rent. You know? So I also feel like I haven't really had the opportunity to process much. Because right now it's all logistics and kind of packing and unpacking and finding things, a new home. As you know, the babies were home last week. And Maddox was unhinged and didn't sleep really much at all. So that means that involved. The rest of the house also did not sleep. Today's Halloween.
Oh yeah, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy going to see Lizzo in a few hours.
We're going to see Lizzo.
It is I was not raised religious, but seeing Lizzo is going to church.
Well, so somebody actually said that. Lizzo will be in a lot of ways. When I say big, I'm talking about I've never been to a show,
a big arena show.
Yeah. I mean, once, and it was outdoor, but I've never been to this type of show. And the people that have seen Lizzo that I have talked with are it changed my fucking life.
It was one of the most what I love about live music is that shared experience of being just okay, all of these people are here because they love this music and we're all going to be moved by it together. And the last time I saw her, or the only time I saw her, was when she was still playing smaller venues. So she played at the Fillmore here.
God, which is so fucking wild.
Which
I remember that.
Yeah.
I was pregnant with Maddox.
And it was so just everybody around us kept exchanging glances and these just knowing moments of just mutual understanding that I thought were really special. And I get that at other shows, but I feel Lizzo definitely just it's like another level because it's also really high energy and really fun.
Right.
I feel like normally, like,
and I've never been to a show like that, like where there's a lot of performance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've never really.
Oh my gosh, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm so excited for you and really jealous.
I think it'll be really nice too. I mean, you know the kind of space that I have been in, that my partner Anaya has been, especially this last week. Like, we need some levity up in this bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and, like, I think she does a really good job of being like, all right. Like, I vividly remember, because I saw her in, October of 2019. And so I was, like, in a really unfortunate, like, job transition and was just, like, in my feelings. And I just remember her being like, all right, all of that shit that's out there, like, literally doesn't matter right now because we're all here together and we're going to listen to this music and we're going to, like, dance and have a good time together. And she would, like, remind us throughout the show, like, hey,
keep your shit.
You're here.
Leave your shit at the door. Here.
Yeah. And it was really, really lovely and really special to be able to be like, yeah, I am here. I am just, like, crying as you're, like, fucking twerking and playing the flute at the same time.
Amen.
So I'm really excited for you and also very envious.
Thanks, buddy. I will report back as you know.
I know. I can't wait to hear all about it.
So yeah. Anyways, it's like big transition vibes over here. I feel like I really haven't had that much time to kind of let my brain and my body catch up. So that is another reason why I'm excited for tonight. And to like go like with my love, who is also like strapped and exhausted, and I think it'll be really nice.
It's gonna be fun. I'm excited for you.
What about you, Han? How are you?
I am. Period. That's a full sentence. No, I'm hanging in. I met with my new therapist today. And I'm just like, I really like them.
God, thank God.
I know. I'm so relieved. Just like the amount of relief that I am experiencing from being understood by my therapist and not having to like continue therapist shopping is just like, whew.
But seriously though, I mean, it's a thing.
And it's so exhausting, especially when you're already burned out.
Hello?
And you're like,
I need a therapist. I'm like, how am I supposed to like use my spoons to look for a fucking therapist?
But that's great. I'm just like very relieved to have like the kind of support that actually feels supportive. I'm relieved to not be working with a therapist who is intimidated by me
and literally admitted that on their own volition.
That I make him nervous. Yeah, Alex, if you're listening to this, I think you're a really cool person, but like you weren't the right therapist for me.
So here we are.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm in the process of actually doing something about the level of burnout that I'm sitting in.
Yeah.
Which is both like exciting and daunting at the same time.
Same.
Like it's great that I'm trying to do something about it, but because I'm so burned out.
Because of the level of burnout, it's like fucking daunting.
Exactly.
It's like, wait, it's still another thing.
Right. The idea of like figuring out how to make accommodations for myself is like, oh my God, but I'm so tired. And I'm just like in that stage of breaking it down into really small parts.
Yep.
Really like low expectations, low stakes parts. And we'll go from there. So, I
love a bite size, like kindness to yourself kind of a bee boop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think something that is really hard about being a person is that once we like come up for air and realize that we've been like overworking and undersleeping and not taking care of ourselves, is that there's so many things on the to-do list to get back into a place of like health and like contentment.
Yep.
And once we have that realization, we want it right away.
Right. We just like want all like we don't want to like trudge back through
like,
the
we're
shit
just like
to get
I just want to be not burned out anymore.
Right.
But there's work there, and so I think it's so easy to just be like, wow, that's so much work, I can't do it, so I'm just gonna not, and I'm gonna stay here in this like bad place,
puddle.
in this puddle, in this, like, gross, disappointing mud puddle.
Well, that was, like, a similar conversation that I had with my therapist, Sarah, last week, that I, reported back fairly immediately with you about, I'm not there yet, but I am working towards the idea of that, like, I know that I'm a doer, I know that, and I don't know that in the way that the people around me know that, And so what I'm trying to, like, learn and teach myself is that, like, there's not, like, glory, like, I'm not a martyr in my doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For me, it's really, like, I was having this conversation with my partner and Aya about, he referenced, and not in a shitty way, but, like, when I'm going through some of my days, especially my hard days, about, like, I'm fucking tired, or, like, this is the shit that I did, and, like, I feel exhausted. I feel like that is not me, like, essentially saying, like, I don't want to do it or I can't do it. It's that, number one, I am vocal about, like, my feelings, right? And it's not like, I don't need anybody to fix that for me.
I just need to say it out loud.
I need to say it out loud.
Yeah.
And I also need to, like, the shit that I don't get done immediately, that I want to get done, or that was, like, on my to-do list that I couldn't, like, I need to stop kicking my shit in for, like, not doing those things right then and there, which is the same, which is like the same as, like,
retweet.
Yeah, like, is the same of like, well, I'm in this burnout hole and I'm trying to get up out of it, and, like, I want to do it all right this fucking second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're getting back to basics.
We're
Having popcorn for dinner.
Oh, no, that's one of the things that I'm not doing this week.
You're not?
Yeah, I'm not having popcorn for dinner.
Is it, like, are you milkshaking, or is it, like, I'm consciously in the kitchen kind of a vibe?
It's a middle ground.
Okay.
So I'm not having popcorn for dinner because I know that it, like, doesn't do me any good. It just makes me, like, thirsty because it's salty. And, like, it doesn't do anything kind to my little IBS tummy.
No.
So I am... Liam, I meant to send you the screenshot of the text. Liam texted me yesterday from the grocery store and said, okay, I feel like I've got the perfect working too much and or depressed shopping cart right now.
Ooh.
And they came home with Annie's mac and cheese.
Yep.
And some frozen pizza.
Okay.
And tater tots.
Yep.
And frozen chicken nuggets.
Yep.
And then just, like, a bunch of vegetables.
Okay.
It's like, okay, I can prepare a vegetable.
I can slice a cucumber, dog.
Right, like, I can roast some Brussels sprouts, no problem.
And eat a box of mac and cheese. Amen.
And so we're in the...
You're in the middle ground.
We're in the middle ground. We're in, like, the harm reduction stage.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, and it's gonna be okay.
It is going to be okay. Yeah. I think that, sometimes, I have a buddy that's going through a hard time that called me earlier today. And when I was asking them what they needed, that one, they were a bit in crisis, and two, that's what they needed. And that's what they were able to articulate was, like, I don't think that I need specifically anything. Like, I need permission. Like, I need permission to, like, set something down and, like, activate my fucking harm reduction skills.
Yep.
Yep. And so even this morning, like, transition days are always fucking weird for me. The kids go home. The kids also don't feel good. Today is also, it would have been my mom's 52nd birthday. So I was, like, kind of already in my feels a little bit.
Yeah.
And, like, when I don't have my babies, I'm already sad. But I also go through this thing of, like, get away from me because it's been such a long week. But, like, don't, right? But,
right.
Like, I hate when you go. And they were not feeling good. So the idea that, like, I am not caring for them when they're sick, I went into what are all the things that I'm going to do this week in an effort to distract myself.
Yeah.
And the truth is there's actually there's a lot of distracting things on my plate that I am not piling on in an effort to dissociate, but rather, like, just from a logistical standpoint.
Right,
I have a lot of shit on my plate. And one of the first places I went to was okay, the kids are not here, so, like, I'm gonna fucking, you know, I'm gonna be in the kitchen, I'm gonna, like, prepare things that I wouldn't normally be able to prepare during the weeks, things that are, like, more involved, and, like, right then and there, I stopped myself, and was like...
It's like, I'm actually not gonna do that.
No.
Like,
and, like, I'm not going to set myself up for failure in that way. Of, like, oh, I'm going to make this big, long list of, like, I'm going to make gnocchi this week. Like, no, I'm not.
But you know what I can do, though, is I can roast a Brussels sprout.
And I can roast a fucking chicken.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I could make cacio e pepe. Right? Like, we can... It doesn't have to be difficult.
In order to be good.
Yeah.
And also to, like, let yourself kind of, like little victories. You know what I'm saying?
I think that is probably the most important thing I learned in Peace Corps. Is like, okay, quick wins, small wins. Like, we have to fucking notice those, otherwise we're gonna be defeated all the time.
You know who's really good at, like, pulling me back into my body in that way is Anaya. You know, when I start to get, like, real fucking floundery or being like, this whole week was a fucking wash and it was hard. You know, he was like, but what about this? And, like, also, what about, like, yes, like, we are so tired. I mean, Maddox probably clocked a handful of broken hours every single night of sleep this week, which means that, like, collectively between the two of us, we're running on, like, 4 hours of sleep tops.
Tight.
You know, and so, like, and also when I'm underslept, like, I'm, like, a tragedy. You know, like, some people can operate on no sleep.
I know this.
Tragic! You know who can operate on no sleep? Anaya. You know who cannot?
Me.
And
you.
Also, it's like Ball City. Just crybaby city.
It's crybaby city. I'm so fussy.
I'm so fussy. Everything
just,
is
like,
annoying.
Instantly overstimulated.
Everybody shut up. Quiet. Anyways, okay, so this is a great lead-in to one of our first questions, which is, and we can kind of, you know, expand on this, piggyback her a little bit, one of the questions that we were asked is, what do you eat when you are depressed? And I'm just going to go ahead and lump and say, like, overstimulated, done, burnt the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you eat when you're a blob?
Nut thins.
I know. I know.
God. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Hannah walking into my house this afternoon with an empty box of nut thins on the coffee table, just really relishing in my look. The kids are not here kind of a vibe.
Yeah,
I had nut thins for lunch.
I'm just, like, never shocked when I see you in a box of nut thins.
No, never.
What I am shocked about is that you don't pick a better cracker, honestly.
I just love them. I know people think I'm so weird, and I love them. I don't feel depraved of, like, a better cracker. Like, it's my cracker. I love it.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'm not here to yuck your yum.
Okay, but to be fair, like, I'm not eating plain nut thins.
No, they're the cheesy kind.
They're the cheddar kind.
They have, like, Cheeto dust on
them. It's like a rice cracker with cheese dust on it. I love those, and I also love this sour cream and onion. Is that what they are? I think so. Is that what
those are? Those sound like they smell really gross.
The green box, but, like, Safeway doesn't have them very often, so we get what we can. Mm-hmm. Also, like, Annie's mac and cheese, man.
Annie's mac and cheese.
Can we talk about Annie's? Because somebody the other day was, like, trying to yuck my yum and was like, oh my god, if you're gonna eat, like, boxed mac and cheese, like, why are you not eating Kraft? And I was like,
I honestly think that Annie's is better.
Far better.
Also, I love Annie's mac and cheese. I'm a shells and white cheddar girl.
Same.
All day
long.
And I like to zhuzh up my powdered cheese with a little...
Say more.
Mustard powder.
Okay.
Garlic powder.
Okay.
Little cayenne.
Uh-huh.
Lately I've been adding in some white pepper.
But you love Annie's mac and cheese with Brussels sprouts, right?
Annie's mac and cheese, usually if I'm like... Okay, if I'm being honest, if I'm depressed, I'm eating Annie's mac and cheese and that's it.
Solo, for sure.
But if I'm just like, all right...
We're phoning it in a little bit.
We're phoning it in. It's Annie's mac and cheese and a roasted vegetable. Mm-hmm. So usually that's Brussels sprouts or broccoli.
I love a broccoli vibe.
I love a broccoli.
I love a roasted broccoli.
I love a roasted broccoli with, like, some chili flakes and garlic.
Yes.
And that's also really easy. Like,
easy.
That's not cooking to me.
It's 15 minutes in the fucking oven at 425.
Right.
Amen.
Exactly. And so that's, like, really manageable. And I know that I feel better when I, like, eat my damn vegetables.
I love a vegetable.
I love a vegetable.
And also, when you got the SADs, man, sometimes vegetables are a little bit hard to access.
Yeah.
So...
But, like, when I got the SADs, I can still... recognize that I will feel better the next day if I eat a vegetable.
Like, get some fiber in there, dog.
Right. Like, don't make your situation worse.
You know what we love to do? I know that you know, but...
Frozen peas, baby.
Frozen peas, and you know what else you can do is, like, frozen broccoli. Like, at the last couple of minutes, frozen broccoli in with your nudes.
Can't... That's a textural thing.
You don't like steamed broccoli?
No.
I love it.
No. Oh my god, no.
Oh, I love it.
Like, steamed, the only vegetable that I will blanch is...
Beans?
Green beans.
Yeah.
And I will blanch them for, like, 2 minutes tops.
So they're crunchy as fuck
still. They're still crunchy.
Yeah.
But,
Ice bath them all day.
Blanched broccoli, or, like, I don't know, recently I made a pasta that called for, like, blanching the kale in the pasta water as opposed to, like, sauteing the kale.
No, I don't like that.
Like, I need at least a little bit of browning. Like
with my kale I do, or for sure.
But
I do love a steamed broccoli, specifically if it is in like a mac and cheese.
Yeah. I can appreciate that, like, as a thing, but
nobody's eating fucking raw broccoli though.
But, like, honestly, like, I would rather have to wash the sheet pan and roast the broccoli.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I love roasted broccoli.
Roasted broccoli is just so good.
It's so good.
Ooh, I have cauliflower at home.
Roasted cauliflower
Roasted cauliflower all day.
Is like the best, hands down the best way to eat cauliflower.
Like, when you cut it like steaks.
Steaks.
Yeah.
And let it get caramely as fuck.
And then, like, get some za'atar going in there.
Yeah. Ooh, speaking of
ooh, we should go to Softa.
Oh god.
And get that whole head of roasted cauliflower.
It's so fire.
It's so good.
But wait. Underrated spices was one of our questions. Should
we
segue?
All right, let's segue. Yeah. What's the most underrated spice?
Okay, you know that, like, I can rabbit hole on these questions.
I know.
Real hard.
I know. Do you want me to go first? I have my answer.
Yeah.
Sumac.
All right.
I love sumac.
People don't ever use it.
People don't ever use it.
I think it's fantastic.
I think it's so delicious. I love, like, I think, like, my cooking is really high acid.
Same.
And if I don't have, I think that sumac is a really great way to add a little bit of acidity to a dish that otherwise isn't super acidic.
Right.
Like, on Saturday night, I made mine and Liam's, like, favorite butternut squash soup, and it's like, we take it in different directions depending on what our mood is, but this time we were feeling kind of like an Indian inspired flavor palette.
Yeah.
And there wasn't enough acid, and so I threw in a little lime, I threw in some sumac, and, like, that tartness with, like, almost like spiciness at the end too, I think is so delightful. And I just, like, I want it on everything. Like, I bought a jar of it because I was making, like, kofta. Mm-hmm. And I'm just, like, it's one of those things that I'm just really happy is in my house now. Because now I can use it
it's there.
Regularly.
Yeah, so you're not like, fuck, you know what would be good in this?
Yeah, but I think that's my underrated spice.
I think I'm gonna go a little left field, and everybody can fuck off, because
let's hear it.
Just stay with me here.
I said sumac.
Vinegars.
Oh, yeah.
I'm calling vinegars a spice, and everybody can be quiet. Is it adjacent?
It's a seasoning.
It's a seasoning. That's what I was saying. Are we doing or are we doing, like, dried herbs? I could do a both and too. I think that vinegars are so wildly underused.
I agree. Hard agree.
There is almost, similarly to acid in general, there is almost a splash of some kind of vinegar in almost everything that I make.
Always put rice vinegar in my chicken noodle soup?
There's always, so in chicken noodle, I usually do a splash of apple cider.
Okay.
Red sauces always get a splash of red wine. Braises always get a splash of either, depending on what I'm doing, red wine, regular, or apple cider. Mm-hmm. And then if I'm going, like a curry vibe, either rice, wine vinegar all day. I brighten your shit up. And a lot of times people think that something is lacking salt.
But it's lacking acid.
It's lacking acid.
And I also really, I'm a big kombucha drinker.
Same.
And so I really like the funkiness that good vinegars can bring. Mm-hmm. A good, seasoned rice vinegar.
It's fire.
So good.
Yeah.
I have never, I only use apple cider vinegar really in salad dressings. Uh-huh. And so now I'm thinking about how else I want to incorporate it. With chicken, chicken-based dishes, chicken braises, bone broths, always apple cider vinegar, all the time. I also have, apple cider vinegar is something that I use beyond the kitchen, because I use it, I get, especially in the winter, and especially when I'm really stressed, I get pretty severe scalp psoriasis.
I was going to say, do you do I grew up, my mom used to rinse my hair.
Yeah, apple cider vinegar in my hair. If I'm
to make it shiny.
If I'm feeling under the weather, I put it in my bath. Mm-hmm. Or if I'm needing to reset the pH of a certain part of my body, I put apple cider vinegar in my bath.
It does. I still have big high key diet vibes from it.
Yes.
Because I drank it in my water every morning.
Oh, that's the other thing. A client taught me, which you know this, but I have horrible acid reflux.
And it's fantastic for it.
And I have just, stopped almost entirely, popping Tums as a snack. Yeah. And I'll just take a shot of apple cider vinegar. Mm-hmm. And it is a game changer.
For sure. I've done that. And, I have weird tummy issues.
And this is the thing. Do you listen to Maintenance Phase?
No.
Okay. Well, Maintenance Phase did a deep dive on Bragg recently, and now I'm oh my god, I have to buy my apple cider vinegar somewhere else.
Oh god, are they shitbags? I mean, I don't buy mine.
They're
That's what I used to buy forever. Yeah.
They're
Are they big conspiracy theorists? That's what it reminds
basically,
me of.
Yeah. I mean, they're
Are they Trumpy?
Yeah, they also just a lot of their shit was a lie. It's actually a really interesting podcast, and I highly recommend anyone to listen to it. Yeah. Also, I just love Maintenance Phase, and I want to listen to Aubrey Gordon talk at me all the time.
At you all day.
Yeah. But anyway, I feel like that answers our questions about being depressed and underrated spices.
Ooh.
Okay.
What? You go. Okay. If you were a kitchen gadget, what would you be? And why?
I was actually asked this in a job interview once.
I don't know the answer. Ooh, yes I do.
Okay, tell us.
I'd be a sharp-ass fucking chef's knife. Duh! Fucking duh!
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think I'd be a Dutch oven.
Oh, duh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think but specifically, okay. Actually, I've been toying with the idea of getting a Dutch oven tattooed on me.
Yeah,
specifically, my parents' orange Le Creuset.
Yeah.
But that's the Dutch oven I would be.
For sure.
And I think about all of the different things that are made in there and how many different,
It's cool.
It's just cool. And it also just feels
You're giving big Cancerian vibes right now.
I got my Cancer rising.
See?
Yeah.
Tracks.
And my little Pisces moon.
Yeah.
I am a fire sign that's very watery, okay?
You're so
very watery.
So watery.
Literally, I'm an Aries sun and everything else is water. My Venus is in Pisces.
It tracks so hard.
My Mercury's in Pisces.
It tracks so hard.
Everything checks out.
Uh-huh.
My Mars is in Aries, though, which you would think would make me choppier than I am, but whatever.
If you don't know what we're talking about, if you know, you know, and if you don't, you're fine.
Anyway.
Le Creuset.
Yeah, I would be a Dutch oven.
Yeah.
And I would just, I feel like it's a It's a centerpiece.
It's giving big home.
It's just like
vibes.
it's cozy.
It's like a big cozy.
It's
vibe.
Cozy. It's collective.
It's collective.
You can make a soup in it. You can make a braise in it.
I don't know why I didn't say Dutch oven, because you know that I tote that fucker around with me wherever I go.
I know. It's like your Linus and your blanket is your Dutch oven.
Come on!
You don't have a dog, but you have a Dutch oven.
Literally. Just like dragging my Dutch oven with me wherever I go.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you can do... I remember please don't fucking try this at home. And if you do and you cut your fucking arm off, it's not my fault. But, like, I couldn't find my paring knife because it was at the commissary. So I sharpened the sweet baby Jesus out of my chef's knife and was peeling apples with it.
Uh-oh.
And it was fucking fantastic.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But
right.
I love a sharp-ass chef's knife.
So, something that I'm learning about myself is that I apply, in general, like, physically and emotionally, too much pressure. So, like... When I remember so vividly when I was a kid, my mom would come in to say goodnight to me, and I would close my eyes like this. Like, I squeezed them shut, and I thought that's how you had to close your eyes.
Yeah, Maddox does that.
And
I'm all, close your eyes, baby, and he's like this. So I'm like, okay, let's relax our face.
Yeah,
that's
it's
weird.
Like major squinty, like, squeeze your whole face energy.
No, go to bed, not look like you're constipated. Like, what?
Like, okay, you know when, like, everybody on the internet loves, like, a smashed potato?
Yeah.
I realized that the thing that was fucking up my smashed potatoes was that I was smashing them too hard. And...
yeah, you just gotta barely press them.
And you gotta just be, like, gentle.
You gotta be boo-boo.
You gotta be gentle. You gotta be soft. And that is something that I didn't know that, like,
you're like, ugh! And then it's, like, all crumbling to pieces.
Like, when I think about, like, my body, like, I have really high, like, sensory needs. Like, if someone's gonna give me a massage, I need you to get your elbows in there and, like, put your back into it.
Right.
But...
you can do it, put your back into it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. You understand me. But when it comes to, like, being in the kitchen, something that I'm learning lately is to be softer.
Yeah.
And having a well-sharpened chef's knife makes a huge difference.
All day long.
And, like, also knowing how to use that chef's knife.
To your advantage, right? Because, like, people are scared as fuck about... and I'm like, no, here's the deal. If you have a well-sharpened chef's knife, you are, like, activating harm reduction. You're not having to press
You're not having to press so hard that you're going to cut your damn finger off.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, do I recommend peeling apples with a fucking chef's knife? Absolutely not. And, like, if it's sharp enough, you know that, like, I don't have to apply a shitload of pressure.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I absolutely agree. I also think, if you are listening to this and you're like, damn, I don't remember the last time I sharpened my knives.
Go sharpen your knives.
I would encourage you to sharpen your knives because it makes all of your meal prep so much easier.
And like, faster?
Faster, and also you feel powerful.
I mean, like, watching somebody, even if you feel like maybe you don't have the best, like, knife skills, if you're wielding, like, a sharp-ass knife, it's already to your advantage, and it's sexy as fuck.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Use that knife all day long.
Yeah. All right, what do we got next? What else do the people want to know?
They are requesting to know what the sweet fuck they're doing with all of the squash.
Ooh, okay.
All of it.
All right, I have many ideas.
Big same, because I'm like, which one do you want to hear first?
I'm a squash bitch. Like, I love squash.
I do too.
A butternut.
Yep.
A delicata.
Oh, I love it. You know, I got 2 delicatas just per person in the kitchen.
I love a delicata.
It's so easy because you get to eat the skin too.
I know.
Hello.
I love like a stuffed acorn squash.
I love a honey nut because it's like
honey nut
easier to handle.
It's a little easier to handle, and it's just like a little bit sweeter.
It's so good.
So you can play with the flavors a little bit more. Okay, so off the top of my head, one of my favorite things to do in the fall is to make like a roast butternut squash salad.
Yeah.
So
same.
like slice the butternut squash relatively thinly.
Okay.
Roast it.
Okay.
But not roast it so hard that it turns into chips.
I was gonna say, you gotta be real careful.
You gotta be careful. It's like a quick roast, almost like a flash fry situation.
I've never done it in strips like that. I always cube it.
So I do it in strips, and then You throw it in with arugula and pomegranate seeds.
Yeah.
I like to add pistachio because I like to add pistachio to most things in my life.
Because you don't like walnuts.
Because I don't fuck with walnuts, and also because pistachios are raining in my nana.
Yeah.
Arugula, pistachio, pomegranate seeds, or like pepitas, also really great. Shaved parm.
Okay.
And just like a little, like very simple, like oil and vinegar dressing.
Like
maybe if you're feeling
lemon,
fancy,
lemon
throw
rind.
some tahini in there.
Okay. Wow.
I think it's one of the most delicious things. The peppery arugula complements the sweet squash so beautifully.
I could get down with that for sure.
So good. Next time we have a dinner, I'm gonna make it for you.
When I was still married, I had a garden, and you know, pumpkins are just like fucking prolific, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
they grow
just,
like weeds,
like all over. And then it's like you have like 19 volunteer crops the next year, and like what the sweet fuck are we doing with all of these? And so I purposefully grew. I mean, I did grow jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, but I grew a lot of like pie pumpkins.
Yeah.
And so even, you know, if you're stuck with some of those guys, and you're like, oh my god, like what am I? Roast them, puree them, portion them out into bags, and freeze that
them.
shit.
Yeah.
You'll never have to buy a canned pumpkin again.
Never.
No.
I also love. So, do you know Carolina Gillen?
No.
Okay, she was the staff writer for Food 52 for a while.
Okay.
But she makes a really great. I use her recipe for this like butternut squash soup and riff off of it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Is that what a fantastic thing to, because depending on the spices that you're using,
right?
I mean, you could literally. I mean, it's almost like congee in a way. Where you could go 19 different fucking directions.
So like usually we will either go like an Indian inspired route or an Italian inspired route, and it's the easiest soup in the world. You roast a squash with like. When you scoop out the seeds of a butternut squash, you have that hole.
Yeah.
In that hole, you put a head of garlic while you roast it.
Yeah.
And some fresh herbs.
What a great idea.
I know. And
are you olive oiling it?
And you olive oil it all over, salt and pep. And then the soup is just like a diced onion, some broth, the squash, coconut milk, and like spices of your choice.
Yeah.
And you could take it in so many different directions.
Yeah, because like I said, I mean, you could do an Italian thing, you know, saute it with like a...
We've done it...
mirepoix.
We've done it with a mirepoix or a sofrito or whatever, and then put like pesto and olive oil on the top.
I was even thinking, like, what about like, you know, Central American vibes with like chorizo and like that would be with pepitas. That would be fire.
Great idea.
Yeah.
And it's really easy. It also, like, you could make the soup and keep it pretty neutral, and then pop it in the freezer
and pull out the base,
and then season it.
Yep.
Like you could just like bloom some spices and oil and work that into the soup.
Yep.
Depending on what you were feeling when you were eating it.
Yep.
I feel like a lot of people are getting like a buttload of squash either from their garden or from their CSA right now.
Right.
I feel like that's a really easy thing to do. Also, whatever squash you have, you can make a pumpkin pie with it.
Oh, for sure.
Like it doesn't have to be a pumpkin.
No.
It can be a butternut squash.
Oh, for sure.
Honestly, when you buy canned pumpkin at the store, most of it is butternut squash anyways.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like, it could be whatever squash.
Make a fucking squash pie.
Yeah, make a squash pie.
Don't be nuts.
Oh my gosh, wait. My favorite pie is also squash.
Mm-hmm.
The cardamom tahini squash pie from Sister Pie.
I haven't had it.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna make it for you this year.
We're gonna have it.
We're gonna have it.
Okay.
It's so good. I love tahini and baked goods. I usually add a little miso in there too.
Tahini, like in a chocolate chip cookie for sure.
Yeah.
Fire with Maldon.
So if you're like, oh my god, I have 18 million squash and I don't know what to do with them, roast them, puree them.
And like freeze it if you don't have spoons to fuck with it right now.
Freeze it. It can be a soup. It
and
can be
also,
a pie.
I mean,
it
it's
can
so
be
hardy.
anything.
It's so hardy that like, you know, even if you're not a vegetarian, if you throw some hunks of like well-seasoned roasted butternut squash in a salad, it's a main. It's a main.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, the end. Put like some fucking goat cheese or some parm in there. It's a main.
Crisp up some chickpeas.
Yeah.
Heaven.
It's
delicious.
For sure.
So easy.
And circling back to what you said about like stuffed acorn, you know, with like sausage that you like let get real crispy, you know? Like, and also if you're listening to this, sweet baby Jesus, if you are like fucking with any kind of ground meat, leave it alone. Put it in the Dutch oven in a hot ass pan. Don't be fiddle-faddling with it.
See, I fiddle too much with my ground meat, so I'm taking this.
Don't be fiddle-faddling. You need to get it in there. Okay?
You gotta let it brown.
You need to let it brown. So it depends on what you're using, right? So if you're using like a pound and it's coming rather flat in like the square, bloop it in your hot ass pan, season one side, and then don't fuck with it for a few minutes. Just let it do its thing. Otherwise, when you try to fuck with it, it's gonna stick and be weird. So like, let it get semi-brown on one side, break it down, okay? Break it down real good, and then leave her be. Leave her be for like 5 minutes.
I feel like this is a lesson that we all could take into all aspects of our life.
Leave it be.
Just get out of your own way.
Just shush it.
Yeah.
Just leave her alone, and you can do so much with nobody, like, especially when people, like, number one, if you're fucking with it too much, or if you're trying to, like, brown more than 2 pounds of meat in like a big, and I'm talking like a big Dutch, that's a no.
No.
Because then you're steaming it. You're not browning anything.
That's the same way that you don't put like you gotta leave space for your veggies to roast.
Yeah. You can't be like crowding stuff, you know?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I think
we covered squash. If you have more squash questions, just, holler.
Because we're going to be at it for a minute.
Because it's going to be
acorn squash, sausage.
I love
sage, apple.
Yeah. I love like a wild rice situation.
I love wild rice. Why don't people fuck with wild rice? I grew up half the time in Minnesota, and that was like a thing.
My mom made chicken and wild rice soup all the time.
I mean, it does give big Midwestern vibes. Like, it's giving cream of mushroom soup and, like, chicken, like, all baked into, like, a mass, which is not really my vibe. But I love wild rice, and I feel like it's rather underrated.
It is underrated, I agree. So the final question that we got for the day was, what should I cook for my next dinner party? And I texted Ava the questions that we got, and I typoed, and I said, what should I cook for my next Donner party?
And I thought Donner kebab, and then Hannah and my sweet baby angel partner both thought of,
the Donner party.
The Donner party. And I was like, oh no.
I
just went straight kebab, and I was like, ooh, Donner kebab.
I also grew up in California, which is, where the Donner party ended.
Yeah. Crash landed.
And, like, when you drive up to Tahoe, you drive past Donner Lake and Donner Pass. And so, like, the Donner Party was a really important part of, like, California history.
Well, so here we are. We're having a full circle moment.
So, what should we make? What should the masses make for their next dinner party?
Here's the deal. Don't ask me this if you don't want some long-winded. What season is it? Is there a holiday? Are we celebrating?
Okay. There's the people are having a friends holiday gathering dinner party. Maybe?
I'm either going roast buttermilk chicken, because it's the only chicken I fuck with. Roast chicken I fuck with. Hello? Why are we doing anything else?
If you're listening,
we love you.
We love you. We will I want you to come officiate my wedding.
If you could do that, I'd love to cook for you sometime.
I'm afraid to cook for you, but I hope that someday I can witness your delight in food, because
so
it's my favorite thing.
Big joy vibes.
Big joy.
So I'm doing the buttermilk chicken, or I'm doing a braise all day long.
What you want to braise?
I'm braising beef.
You braising a short rib?
For sure. Or, I mean, even, zhuzh up your old chuck roast. I love a chuck roast. Put some red wine, like reduce some of that. Get some cremini mushrooms going, mixed with like some reconstituted dehydrated mushrooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little like rehydrated dried porcinis.
I love a braise. I really do, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
This is the hill that I was dying on.
It's also a great dinner party food, because you can, like, pop it in the oven and then just leave it alone.
I mean, we talked about this on one of our recent episodes about, like, things to impress it's high impressed vibes because like everybody loves a well cooked meat, you know, and you can still you can be social. Yeah. What are you making?
I mean, honestly, my go-to is that buttermilk roast chicken. However, I was internet stalking myself recently, as one does.
I love that for you.
And I was
looking I doing in 2014?
Well, okay, it doesn't go that far back. But I was looking back at, like, food that I've made. Like, are there things that I, like, haven't made in a while that I should revisit? And there is, I can't remember, honestly it might be David Chang, but I'm afraid I don't want to, like, misspeak credit. Shit. But there's this gochujang roast chicken and potatoes.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
And it is so good. It's so good. It's so easy. And, like, also, again, like, a really fun, like, a versatile thing. Like, serve it with rice and some veg and some kimchi.
Well, I was going to say a pickled vibe. Yeah, that's what I do with it.
But I think it's so delicious and so fun. Also, like, I think that when you roast a chicken, having, like, potatoes and stuff in the roasting pan that get all schmaltzy,
it's so good.
So good.
You can't really, I mean, who is going to say no to a schmaltzy potato? Hard segue, real quick. Have you seen, like, the viral Parmesan potatoes that everybody's talking about on TikTok? This is the thing. 2 people told me about it at the farmer's market last weekend.
But I think so. But I also, as somebody who, like, spends maybe too much time on TikTok, this happened like 6 months ago.
Oh no! I feel it's been revitalized.
Is it a different Parmesan potato?
I don't know. So,
is it just like one that gets a little crusty with parm when you roast it?
Yeah. So you like you cut them in half and then you boop them cut side down.
Yeah.
And like you're laying like a fuckload of melted butter. Frico. Yeah. Like you're laying like a fuckload of melted butter, a fuckload of parm, some herbs, salt.
Make good potatoes for your dinner party.
I was telling Anaya about fondant potatoes. Are you familiar with those? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's never had those. I feel like I got to do those.
There is like a non-zero part of me that wants to like commit to the like 15-hour potato. Have you seen those? They look so good. They basically are like the laminated pastry of potatoes.
Oh, the duck confit potato, where it's like very finely shaved.
Yeah. That one. There's a part of me that wants to make that, but there's also a part of me that's like, that's so ridiculous.
That is a little bit ridiculous.
But yeah, make good potatoes for your dinner party. Make that butternut squash salad with the arugula for your dinner party.
For sure. With a roast chicken.
Put goat cheese in there. Yeah. In the salad.
Yeah. Wow, what a high note to end on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow.
You're welcome.
I feel excited to go home and like make myself some food now.
I'm excited to shower because I stink. And then I'm like, instead of
then you're gonna go to therapy.
And then
by therapy I mean Lizzo.
By way of Lizzo.
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus herself.
Yeah.
Lizzo. And then I'm gonna spend some time tomorrow thinking about, okay, I have a shitload of shit on my plate.
A shitload of shit?
Yeah. And so am I making some coursed out meals every single night this week? Absolutely not. No. But let me get my body into the kitchen.
Yeah, but like roast a veg with your Annies, okay?
Or like roast a chicken.
Roast a chicken.
And throw a bagged salad on it, for fuck's sake. Ooh. For those of you that need a new bagged salad, you know that I am the bagged salad queen. I'm probably late to the party because I don't frequent here very often. I know. Trader Joe's has the delicious, and it has like dilly potato chips that are like real fucking well done, like borderline burnt potato chips.
Okay.
It is a fire.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome, everyone. Report back.
All right. Well, on that note,
here we go.
We'll see you later.
Well, catch you later, boy.
Make good choices. Stay out of trouble.
Stay sexy.
Eat good food. Yeah. Charge your vibrator.
Amen.
Drink water. Love you. Bye.
Goodbye.